This is CBS 7 News at 10. Your eye on West Texas.
One person is dead, another taken to the hospital after a bizarre crash involving a daycare bus. That bus crashed into an unused building that once housed a Hua's restaurant. My partner Jay Hendricks joins us now live from the scene of the crash with the latest information. Jay?
Tatum, good evening. We are here at the scene at 21st and Andrews Highway. As you can see behind me, the building, what used to be a Hua's restaurant, has been boarded up tonight. The bus was removed about an hour ago, and Odessa police have been out here throughout the night trying to piece together exactly what happened. And while there's still a lot of unanswered questions, one thing is for sure, one person is dead.
The bus could be seen sticking out of the old Ahua's restaurant. Odessa police say 27-year-old Victoria Garcia, who was the driver of the bus, failed to stop at the stop sign on 21st Street. The bus then continued to travel across Andrews Highway, hitting two vehicles and then crashing into the building. Police say Garcia was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Brody Bolton, an eyewitness, says he never saw her move.
I never saw anything of the driver until after I'd already kind of gotten over here and calmed my son down and calmed myself down and looked over and saw her lying on the street. She wasn't responsive at all. I mean, she was just laying there.
Bolton was driving south on Andrews Highway when the bus ran in front of him.
It didn't seem like it was going at an outrageous rate of speed or anything. It was probably just going the speed limit of that street. It just never attempted to stop.
Bolton was unable to avoid the bus, saying it was very scary.
I didn't have a whole lot of time, so I just hit my brakes and hit that school bus. And
the driver of a Jeep Cherokee, 28-year-old Juan Andrade, was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. We spoke to the owner of the daycare Garcia worked for, the Daystar Kids Learning Center. They tell us Garcia had been working for them for a while and was on her way to pick up children when the crash happened.
Tatum, the workers behind me here are about to wrap things up. There's crime scene tape still here, but they're about to remove that. They say they had to put it up because many people were driving by, stopping to look. They were afraid there might be another wreck here. This has been a chaotic scene throughout the day, as you might imagine, and police still have some questions they want answered, including things about the driver. What happened to her? And of course, we'll follow this story in the days to come. Reporting live in Odessa, I'm Jay Hendricks. Tatum, back to you.
Jay, thanks very much. With your eye on West Texas, some big changes will be impacting high school athletics all across the Permian Basin. The University Interscholastic League realigned its districts today, and while some of the changes were not surprising to coaches, some small-town rivalries will be broken up. CBS 7's Shannon Murray spent the day in Fort Stockton talking to coaches and students who will be facing new competition this year. Shannon?
Tatum, the Fort Stockton Panthers are moving further west next season, scheduled to play Clint Mountain View, Anthony, Fabens, even as far as Presidio. One team not in their district this year is one of their biggest rivals, the Monahans Lobos.
Fort Stockton Panthers.
I love going to sports and football, especially in basketball.
But one game the Fort Stockton Panthers won't play in district this year. The fan favorite rivalry against the Monahans Lobos.
Had a lot of fun going to Monahans.
Instead, they'll be heading west, even as far as Presidio.
Presidio's too far to go.
Everywhere that people drive to, it's always about maybe 2-hour drive away or an hour drive away.
You park your seat in the bus and get comfy because it's going to be a trip.
Coach Derek Taylor says for most people in Fort Stockton, a long drive is nothing new. It's the lineup that fans might not be thrilled about.
They'll look at it as we got put in a weaker district and we no longer have that rivalry with Monahans in the same district.
But there's another rivalry that isn't going anywhere. The Panthers and the Pecos Eagles will still face off in the last game of the season. It's a classic rivalry that Coach Taylor says will be a focus for next season.
Build it up even more and go with it.
And despite the list of changes, one thing will stay the same.
No matter what, we still have to play the game on Friday night. Whether it's football, whether it's basketball, we still have to compete and go take it to the next level.
Although the Panthers and Lobos won't meet in district play, Coach Taylor says they are scheduled for a game in preseason. Reporting live in the studio, Shannon Murray, CBS 7 News.
Shannon, thank you. With your eye on education, the Ector County School District is implementing some changes to ease the workload on teachers. In an email sent to principals from ECISD Chief of Staff H.T. Sanchez, he explains that the district will allow adjustments in the lesson planning system called Eduphoria that was implemented this year. Sanchez explains in the email that the decision was made after discussions with campus principals who shared teacher concerns that the lesson planning program was too time-consuming. Administrators also heard from a group of teachers on Tuesday who voiced their concerns. Superintendent Hector Mendez felt it was important to respond to those concerns. Managed planning will continue, but with the option to use a Word document to simplify the process. The clouds rolled through the Permian Basin today, but it was still warm and breezy. Let's check in right now with our weather director, Craig Stewart, for a look at what's happening outside right now and what we can expect in the morning. Craig?
Tatum, tell you what, it really feels like it could rain out there, and that's still in the forecast. And we'll show you what you can expect into the morning hours, because it's going to be partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies and really warm temperatures for Odessa, right around 50. South winds at about 10 to 15. As we get toward the Midland area, we'll see it at about 49 degrees, partly to mostly cloudy skies, mostly cloudy. Big Spring, 54. To start out your Friday, with winds out of the south at about 10 to 20. As we get toward the Pecos area, partly cloudy skies, 38 degrees. So the further west you go, the cooler it gets. 46 Fort Stockton, partly cloudy skies. For Alpine, we'll see partly cloudy, 39 west to southwest winds. And for Marfa, it'll be mostly clear with a low dropping down to 30 degrees. So a little bit cool there. And your hazardous weather outlook for your Friday. In the afternoon, no hazardous weather. Early in the morning, again, there is the possibility of some showers really around portions of the eastern Permian Basin. Coming up in just a bit, we'll have your weekend forecast, tell you about some cooler conditions.
Craig, thank you very much. New tonight at 10 o'clock, the former Winkler County official who retaliated against 2 whistleblowing nurses has had his law license suspended. The State Bar of Texas released its order for Scott Tidwell, who was convicted in October of retaliation and misuse of official information. He was sentenced to 10 years probation. Tidwell cannot practice while his appeal is pending. Another top story we're following for you tonight: more than 30 people face drug charges after a 3-month investigation by the DEA and other agencies. All but 6 of the 31 people were arrested this morning or were already in custody. All of the offenders live in Odessa or Midland. They face a variety of drug trafficking and possession charges for a variety of different drugs. Meanwhile, we are continuing to learn more about the arrest of an adult store owner in West Odessa. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, 67-year-old Jimmy Wayne Wright faces federal charges of possession and distribution of products, knowing that they would be used in the manufacture of cocaine. The charges come after DEA agents raided Wright's B&L bookstore Tuesday morning in connection to a large drug bust across the Big Bend area. And 3 people wanted in connection with that drug ring are now behind bars. The DEA says Eric Keith Payne, Robert Molinar Ramos, and Christopher Michael Quesada turned themselves in. 2 of them did so after seeing their pictures here on CBS 7 News. More than 1,200 miles of border separate Texas from Mexico, and it's more than any one agency can cover alone. CBS 7's Shelley Childers had the opportunity to work firsthand with DPS troopers flying high over the Texas-Mexico border. She joins us in the newsroom to explain the challenges the desert terrain presents and how one special tool is playing a big part to protect our national security. Shelley?
Protecting our border from illegal immigrants, drug smugglers, and even terrorists is no simple task. It's a job big enough for 2 agencies and aerial reinforcement.
Out here, we have about 500 miles of border.
It's barren open land that reaches further than the eye can see.
It's a lot of border and a lot of people crossing illegally and a lot of drugs coming across illegally. And it's, it's a lot for one agency to handle.
And in order to get the job done, Texas DPS troopers team up with U.S. Border Patrol agents.
We have to work together.
Working together by ground and by air. Once we've taken off, the challenge begins. Our first task is to find the Border Patrol agents on the ground, an undertaking almost as large as the Great Chihuahuan Desert we're in.
Right now we're trying to find the Border Patrol agents that are chasing them.
My pilots Sean Parker and Kyle Argenbright live in Alpine, but spend most of their time in the air, telling me their work on the border never ends.
We have drugs coming across day and night, every day of the year.
It takes almost 30 minutes into our flight to find the trackers.
There's somebody up here.
Two men dressed as backpackers themselves. You'd never know these were actually federal agents. They tell us they're tracking a group about an hour ahead of them, and now our real hunt begins.
These guys are real good at hiding in this brush to where we can't even see them. So if you see anything with color in it, let us know. No, I'm serious. That's what we look for.
All of a sudden, I'm no longer just a guest on board. They need all eyes a part of the search.
If they're backpackers, they'll be hauling. The marijuana will be in sugar sacks. And most of the time it's camouflaged, but it's white underneath a lot of times. Might be able to see that too.
Now when we're trying to find that flash of white or speck of color in the desert, it's not only speed, but the visibility the chopper provides that becomes so valuable.
We can see things from the air that you can't see from the ground. In the terrain out here, you may not be able to see over the next ridge.
Years of experience tracking from the sky is starting to kick in. Sean and Kyle know exactly where to look and where they can pass over.
I don't think they're going to be in this wash. There's too much wildlife in it. Yeah. And they'll generally try to make their way to spots like this, area or some kind of landmark where a driver can find them.
They tell me it's rare for them to actually spot the bad guys. Instead, the chopper is used as a tactic to scare them into staying in one place long enough for ground agents to find them.
Once we're overhead, the guys they're tracking, they really can't move a whole lot because we'll see them if they do. So generally, like Kyle said, they'll lay down. And that gives those guys, the Border Patrol agents, time to catch up to them.
But this search plays out a little differently.
Oh, there they are right here. Got them. Got them.
The two agencies spring into action quickly, moving in when the group is finally found hiding in desert brush.
Agents, we've got them located here.
Working together, Border Patrol agents on the ground are led by the voices of DPS troopers in the sky.
He's about to be right on top of them. Tell him he's 20 feet. Keep heading right in the same direction.
Okay, you're 20 feet away.
Or he's got some more. Oh, he's got some more that I didn't see.
Okay, the group's going to be bigger than we thought. There's more than one location.
Their total catch, a group of 8 illegal immigrants. After making arrests and searching the area, no backpacks are found. This group may be drug-free.
So how exciting is that for you guys?
Oh, it's very exciting for us. That's a lot more fun than just regular old flying when you find bad guys.
Pilot Sean Parker tells me this was one of their fastest finds, saying they've spent as much as 8 hours in the air looking for one group. The tactics they're using to secure the border have become much more proactive, and because it's been so successful, they're now using it right here in the Permian Basin. We take to the skies again tomorrow, showing you why the black and white chopper has become a familiar sight over Midland, Odessa. That's tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Reporting in the newsroom, Shelley Childers, CBS 7 News.
Shelley, thanks very much for that. The winds are still howling outside right now, so could some showers occur overnight. Weather Director Craig Stewart is back after the break with a look at your 7-day forecast. You're watching CBS 7 News, your eye on West Texas.